Hey guys, and welcome to a budget build for the OP SKS and the SKS. You can buy these from traders. The OP SKS is available from Jaeger tier 2 for 32k, or the standard SKS is available from Prapor at tier 1 for 22k. So let's get straight into this. We are going to be basing everything around the non-hunting rifle version. The difference between the both is the hunting rifle version allows you to have a dovetail mount, where the non-hunting rifle version doesn't allow you to have a dovetail mount. So let's get straight into this. To start off, we are going to head over to Mechanic tier 2. We are going to buy the TAPCO INTRAFUSE stock, as well as the TAPCO tube and the SAW SKS pistol grip. So far that hasn't put us back too much. That's 9,000 for the stock, basically 2,000 for the TAPCO tube, and then 3,000 for the pistol grip. So far that's put us back around about 14k. Now at this point, you can head over to Skier, go to tier 3, and you can grab yourself the GLR-16-S buttstock, and as well grab yourself the RK5 foregrip. Okay, so you need a sight for this gun. This is going to be 100% down to you what type of sight you can have. You can grab yourself the OPK7, or you can grab yourself on tier 2 with Prapor the EKP-8. The great thing about the EKP-8, it does lower your recoil by 1%, but it doesn't nerf your ergonomics by -6. The great thing about this build is that it actually doesn't matter because the ergonomics is going to be so high. And then finally, we need to head over to Jaeger at tier 2 and grab yourself the WT0032-1. It's basically the weapon tuning SKS thread adapter. And finally, we need to head over to Skier tier 2 and grab ourselves the DTK-1 muzzlebrake. So this has put us back quite a bit of cash. I would always recommend, if you check the flea market, if you're looking for these guns, to be honest with you, you usually find the SKS extremely common inside of raids. But if you was to check the flea market for the SKS, they aren't actually that much cash. The normal SKS you can get for around about 18k. I did actually get that one in my stash for 16k. Or the dovetail version for 27k, which is definitely a bit more expensive. So let's put everything together. And here you go. We are sitting at 95 recoil, which is actually really good for an SKS, a semi-auto gun, as well as 76 ergonomics, even with this hefty Cobra EKP-8 sight on the top. Now the thing is, right, you should never just build your guns like this in one go and do it in a single run. With these type of builds, you need to do it modular, because that's the whole point of budget runs, is that if you survive a raid with this gun, then you can put another upgrade on it. You survive another raid with the gun, then put the last upgrade on it. So let's say you got this SKS straight out. Let's take everything off. Let's say you just got this SKS out of a raid and you want to go in and use it. I would recommend if you just go straight up with the INTRAFUSE stock. So that would be including the sight, because obviously you need the sight, you need the butt pad for obvious reasons, as well as the pistol grip, or it's not going to be able to be used. So at this point we've gone up to 70 ergonomics. This is actually really good already, as well as 111 recoil. At this point you kind of don't actually need to upgrade it anymore. Yes, you are starting to waste cash, but let's say you survive that next raid and make absolute bank, or you might have switched out your SKS, which, you know, you could do. Next, then you would obviously put on the pistol grip. Bear in mind, this is going to increase your ergonomics, which is great, and lower your recoil. And if you survive that raid, or you can buy them both together, it's cheap as anything, your vertical recoil is now down to 95. So the things about budget builds is you're not meant to do it in run. It's actually meant to be done over time, in my opinion. You're not just meant to go straight out and fork out all of the money for this. It is actually a budget build, surprisingly. To be when I was looking at research, I wasn't expecting myself to go with a TAPCO, the INTRAFUSE stock with the butt stock and all that kind of stuff. With Jaeger on tier 2, you can actually grab yourself the SKS SOCOM, but then at this point, is there any much point using this? Because it costs you 16k, and with all of the TAPCO parts, not including the butt stock, it's going to put you back 13k already, and it makes it more harder for you to take. Because if you got that TAPCO, if you got the SKS SOCOM, it's still a 1x5, so you can easily take it out. But now it's like a full-on gun, and to be honest with you, not a lot of people actually like the SKS. It is kind of underappreciated. It's understandable why they don't like it, because it is a semi-auto gun, and not a lot of people are big fans of semi-auto guns, especially in Tarkov, because, you know, semi-autos can be quite a pain if latency isn't on your side. So at this point, you could be done. You can obviously upgrade your magazines if you would like. It's down to you. If you'd like to, it is on Peacekeeper at tier 2 for $59. So in my opinion, that's actually quite expensive. I wouldn't recommend it. The whole point of budget is meant to be cheap. And I will buy it just to show you though. I will recommend if you stick with the 10 rounder, mainly because if it's for budget runs, you can rock 10 rounders inside the gun and then have yourself 10 rounders outside of the gun, so you're only losing a certain amount of bullets. BP is extremely expensive, so if you find BP in a raid, you kind of want to do it that way. So have obviously your magazine full, have about 10 bullets in reserve in your pockets, and then have like a stack inside your container, your alpha container, or whatever it is, just so you're not wasting a load of money on bullets. To be honest with you, this is a type of gun that looks cool, but you do actually get quite a few TAPCOs throughout the game. I know there's a glitch on interchange at the moment that has basically an infinite number of scavs that spawn, and the amount of times that I've run into that situation, and there is so many TAPCO SKSs, I just don't grab it. So to be honest with you, someone might not grab this. They might take off your grip or something, or your sight, but it's a Cobra sight. No one likes the Cobra sight. Why am I recommending it? It's just, I like it. It's so-so. It's so-so. But guys, so this is the budget build for the SKS. I will go into what bullets you want to use. So let's go into that now. Okay, so with the SKS, you do have 5 different types of bullets. We are actually only going to be talking about 2 of them though, because the other ones are kind of, there's no point using them. The ones I'm not going to talk about is HP, which is just extremely high flesh damage and no penetration, and US just because it doesn't really work in the game at the moment and doesn't have that great penetration. So the best bullet for 7.62 is BP, but as you can see, it is extremely expensive. BP is actually quite common. You can find it in raids quite a lot, so coming across it is definitely like, hell yes, good. Make sure you gamma that, because it is definitely a decent bullet. The penetration is 47 and the flesh is 58, so it's a really high flesh damage bullet as well as penetration. It can penetrate all the way up to level 6. Bear in mind it will take a few shots to penetrate level 6, but it does actually penetrate level 6. The next best that I would recommend is PS. Now this is the one I'd recommend that you just run anyway. A lot of people actually pull it up for less than 87. I think I saw someone put up 400 for $80 80 rubles earlier. But PS is actually pretty decent. It has 34 penetration and 54 flesh. It won't go through, okay, it will go through, but it will require a lot of bullets to go through level 6, but it can comfortably penetrate up to level 4, which is what a lot of people like to run. Level 5 and above is a lot more higher tier, and at that point that's when you possibly would want to start running BP, and you'd only see those on maps like Shoreline, maybe on Interchange, Labs and Factory. So I'd recommend if you run PS, if you're running Interchange and, you know, taking your time in Interchange instead of rushing around, Customs, Woods, those type of places, I'd recommend PS, because it's a semi-decent bullet. It's got 34 pen and 54 flesh, so it's less flesh damage than BP and less obviously penetration than BP, but for the price you can't really go wrong. It is a decent medium tier bullet, so you can wreck noobs with this, and you can kind of, if you aim for the head and shoot between the eyes of geared guys, you can drop them quite easily. But out of the two, use PS. Okay, so we're inside the hideout. Let's test out the recoil pattern. Bear in mind this is definitely a ergonomics build. As you can see, your ADS speed is absolutely insane. It's quick as anything. If you hold your breath while standing, this is very beneficial for newer players because a lot of people like the hard scope, which means, as you can see down the bottom left, my stamina isn't going down at all, which is perfect, which means that you can hold your aim down sight whilst holding your breath as well, and just hold the corners or hold the bushes that you hear people in, or if you're a bush rookie yourself, this gun will help out definitely. And of course, if you're crouched, it will still hold your stamina bar, and also when you're lying down. So this is definitely a high ergonomics build, which is good for newer players. So let's go from standing, shooting this guy in the bollocks, and let's see how the recoil pattern goes. Bear in mind it is semi-auto, and I'll be clicking as fast as I can. I'm definitely not the fastest clicker, but as you can see, this is actually quite surprising. Actually, it's really surprising. So obviously it doesn't have any nuts left, but it went straight up to the chest and came back down. It is actually quite in a straight pattern, obviously apart from that top right one. There really isn't as much horizontal recoil as there are in other guns. Obviously you got the initial kick like every single Tarkov gun, but this is meant to be semi-auto, so you are meant to be tap tap and then tap tap. It's not meant to be full auto in like that. I mean, in CQB environments, so let's say you're in dorms or something, then you know it would definitely be able to hold your own. Let's try this at range, shoot him in the nuts first of all, and let's see how it goes. Okay, I did move my mouse a little bit there to the left, but same again. You got no nuts, straight up into the chest and straight back down and just sat in the gut. I am clicking as fast as I can. I don't have a quick trigger finger, but like I said before, it is all about, you know, tapping them in the head and taking your time with these things. You're not meant to be doing any crazy things. I am going to show you something quickly about the other SKS, the OP SKS. One of the beneficial things about running the OP SKS is that you can actually put a dovetail sight on the gun, which means that it can be a lot more powerful in long range situations. So if we head over to Peacekeeper and we go to tier 2, we can grab ourselves the NC Star backup mount, the MPR45 backup mount. If we grab this, it means that we can put a canted sight on the gun. If we just put on any, okay, that one doesn't work. I know what works, a Pico 6. So if you put a Pico 6 on the front sight on that canted sight, and then head over to Prepper tier 1, you can grab yourself a PSO1. And now at this stage in the game, this is when this gun becomes into its own. As you can see, we can put the canted sight on the front, PSO in the back, and then here we go. Now let's take this back into the hideout, and you can see why this is going to become such a powerful gun. Because of the insane ADS time, you can actually ADS down sight, right? So you got long range, and then you can go close range, shoot him in the head, and then go long range. So this is a hugely versatile gun. If you don't have a broken, by the way, to change sight, I think it's control right click. I've changed my keybind, but in your settings, controls, have a quick look. I will see it here somewhere. Switch scopes, here you go. I've changed what mine is. Okay, so right mouse button and left control is what it is. I've keybound mine to my mouse, but right mouse button and left control is how you switch between the sights, which is what I was doing. If you guys don't know how to do that, So control right click, yeah, there you go. So it's still pretty decent. Also, if you want to turn on the light for this sight, it is alt right click, and yeah, it's just something that is extremely powerful in these games. And the thing about canted sight, a lot of higher end players run canted sights because your arms are in front of your body, which means that you've actually got more armor, because your arms are going to take the initial hits from the shots and then it's going to go through to your body once your arms get blacked out. So guys, hopefully this gun will find you some beautiful love. Remember, it is a modular build. It's not meant to be done in one go. I mean, if you want to, you can do what you want. It's your life. But guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully this guide has been useful for you. If you've run this gun and got some juicy ass loot, make sure you head over to our Discord and go post it in the loot porn. And guys, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.